Have you ever found yourself in a predicament that you just wish you could rewrite, you could change what has occurred because it's causing you stress going forward into your life the next day, the next week, the next year even potentially? I'm going to share with you a technique that you can use to completely change what has occurred so that it does not affect you anymore. And this is a technique from Neville Goddard. He taught this and continues to through his spirit. And this technique is revision. The ability for you to revise whatever has occurred in your life. That is what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to share with you how you do it and more so why this is possible. And the reason why this is possible is going to blow your mind. Because this actually has grounding in science and physics to why you are able to do this. So let's start with the technique itself, the revision technique. How do we do this? What is this? Is it a technique or is this an ability we have? I'm going to call it an ability because you're able to do it. And all you're doing, it's very simple. Whatever you experienced, whatever it may be that's causing you stress, whether it's emotional discourse, anxiety, or depression, all you need to do after this occurs is sit down with yourself, close your eyes, focus on the event, and rewrite it how you want it to occur. And then know that that is how it occurred. And then go forward knowing that is how it occurred. Then that it will be how it occurred in your life. And you would have revised that event. You can do this with anything. 100% is possible. Is your mind going to allow you to do this? So that's the question. Because you have to have faith in yourself that you have the power and capability to do this technique. That's why I call it an ability, because you have to be able to do it with your mental prowess. You have to allow yourself to be open enough for these type of magnificent changes to take effect in your life. And the only way that's going to happen is if you see that it's possible. And to see that it's possible, there's only a couple ways you can go about that. You listen and have faith in who is teaching you this. So either me or Neville Goddard. You have faith that what we are teaching you is correct. You put the technique into practice and you see that this actually works. You start small and see how it works, and then you can make your way up bigger. A good example of this, which isn't this technique, but to see the power of your mind, the rice experiment. I'm going to do a whole video on that actually. We're going to do that so that we can show you how powerful your mind is and why you are able to manifest, because it all has to do with your energetic focus. And that is what that will show you. And that's even what's happening here. It's because your energetic focus is on changing something. And when you do that, you can change it. It's no different than you changing the shirt you have on. You put energy and focus onto, I want to wear a different shirt. I want a different color. I want it to have something else on it. Maybe you want it to be a different material. You want a tank top on because you're sweating. All you need to do after you've decided you want to change and revise what you wore when you rose for the day is go wherever your shirts are, whether that's in your closet hanging up in your drawer, maybe it's in your hamper, maybe they're down in your dryer still because you don't keep up with your laundry. You go there, you get it, you change your shirt, you put the tank top on, that blue tank top with the gray trim around it, you put that on, and now you've just revised what you are wearing. You changed it. And you can actually change it to where you never wore anything else, because who's going to tell you different? No one. It's up to you what you wore throughout the day. You decide that for yourself. No matter what someone else is going to say, you can make the choice that this is what I've always been wearing. I don't know what you're talking about. You're from a different dimension. You came here from another reality. I am not the same core that you think you know. I am a different one. I've always been wearing this. I've always been this way. Because you have to realize there are infinite multitude of different realities right here, right where we are. And at any moment, you can go shifting into any of them and change what you are doing, change your experience, change what has occurred, change how history is, how the title of books, the Bernstein Bears. It's not Stein, it's Steen, or it's the Bernstein Bears, it's not Stein. I had these books when I was a child. I 100% know that it was Bernstein Bears. I had them. I used to read them. This was actually one of the only books I had. This is why it's possible, because of things such as that. The Mandela effect is called. I can do a whole video on what that is, because there's a reason it's called the Mandela effect. I have done a whole video on it. You just can't see it. The Mandela effect has to do with what a mandala is. It has nothing to do with Nelson Mandela necessarily, unless we're looking at him as being a archetype for something, which he is, and we can do that, but we're not going to do that here. We're going to continue on with revision and why you're able to revise. I'm sure at this point you're questioning, what is it, Core? What is it that you're going to tell me that's going to blow my mind, that's going to allow me to revise anything in my life, going all the way back to my earliest memories as a child? You can change it all, whatever you want, at any moment. And it all comes down to memory. We can go look at science, physicists. We can see through their work that memory is nothing more than electrical pulses that are stored in your brain and your neurons, in the nodes. Well, if that is the case, then you have the ability to change that. Because science even says that they can implant memories into your brain, which they can, and they have successfully, and they've been doing this for over a decade that we know about. Do you ever see the movie Blade Runner? That's what it's all about. Replicas. They don't know that they're not organic beings. They think they are, because they were given memories and a whole story to think they are. Do you think that you came from where you think you did? How do you know? How would you know? Your memory can be changed. It can be given to you. It can be rewritten. It can be recoded. They have actually put memories inside of people's brains to where they think they have went to Disney World and they have never been to this place. Yet they have a whole experience in their brain that they have a memory of, that they can consciously see that I did this. And they attach this to what they know as these electrical impulses, which is going to be Disney World and the experience of that. You can do the same thing. They can put memories in your brain. They can take memories out of your brain. I mentioned in the last video how Apple has patents to listen to your brain waves. That's because they're listening to what's on your brain. So they can then figure out how to change what's on your brain, so they can program you with exactly what they want you to do with the memories without you ever knowing that they did it. That's called Inception. I'm sure you've seen that movie because it's very popular. That's what this is all about. You are rewriting what you have in your brain, in your body, in your memory, because that's what your body is. Your brain's the central focus of that memory. Your brain and your digestive system, but your whole body is memory. Your whole body retains memory, which is why health is so important. And when we realize that from a physical standpoint, we are being told that memories can be implanted. I keep repeating this because this is what makes this so obvious that what is going on. When memories can be implanted into you, and you actually think you have experienced what this memory is, no matter the insanity that it might be. They can put anything in your brain, and you will think that you actually experienced that. How would you know you did it unless someone told you that that was put inside of you? Okay, well, let's step back from that, Because now let's take that concept and look at it with revision. If science is telling us that we're able to implant and remove memories because they're just electrical impulses, what are you doing with your conscious, which is electricity being focused towards something? You are rewriting what it is, or you're writing something. So one of the two things you're doing, you're either creating something in front of you to keep going, or you're recreating, or recreation. You're recreating what is going on in you to be more aligned with your enjoyment, which enjoyment and recreation have to do with each other, which is why recreation, reincarnation, all of these things are all together in one very similar word. When you put focus towards revising an event in your life, you will know that it has changed, because people will know. People will speak to you from the standpoint that it has always been that way, because you have shifted. You've either shifted to a different reality where that is the case, or you've shifted everything else around you in ways that it needs to be for that to be the case. When you have something occur that you have trouble getting through, that you find is a block, sit down, figure out what is causing it, and revise it. Change it in your mind. Rewire the brain so that that memory is different. You can do this to yourself. You just need to have the conscious mind to do it. You need to be open to doing it. You need to have faith in yourself that you have this ability. Neville says a story in one of his lectures. The lecture is the 3 propositions, which is my favorite lecture that he does. And this story is based on revision. I'm not going to go through the whole story. The summary of it, though, is there is a movie reel that gets sent off to WB, I think it is, Warner Brothers, and it needed to be there by a certain time on that day. The guy who sent it got a call that they didn't receive the video, or they received 6 of them, but they were missing 1, or they're missing so many of them. And he was devastated because there's no way he's going to be able to get what they need to them in the amount of time, because they needed it right away because they're going to air something. And he told his wife this. And his wife, instead of wallowing with him in his mind, she sat down for as long as it took for her to revise the situation. She sat down, stared at the phone that he called her from, and seen in her mind that he called her, she answered, and everything was good. They had everything they needed. They were able to air the show. Nothing was missing, and everything worked out. There was never anything wrong. One part I missed actually was the film was actually damaged, is what the original issue was. The film was damaged, is what they told him. Well, after she did this, which I want to say she sat down for an hour and 30 minutes, it was a very specific time, hour 39 minutes, and afterwards she got a call. She got a call from her husband telling her that they found the film, that it wasn't damaged. Even though they told him it wasn't damaged. They found the film, and it's all good. They got it all. They're able to do what they need with it. There's no problem. So instead of them coming to the house and being depressed because they're probably not going to get some type of monetary gain, they're not be able to present what they are going to present, things aren't working correctly for them. They felt bad. They're working with Warner Brothers, and they weren't able to produce what Warner Brothers needed to do what they needed to do with the film. Well, instead of going to their house and being sad the rest of the night about that, she changed what occurred. And they went home and they enjoyed themselves because there was nothing that happened that harmed them. It was all perfect. It all worked out for them. Everything unfolded as it needed to because she had the whereabouts to know that I'm going to change the situation because I can. I'm going to. And she did. And you can do the same thing because you can do this at any moment in your life. You can do this for yourself. You can do this for others. That's actually one of the most it's doing it for others is a way to see the ability that you have. It's an excellent way to see what you are able to do because you're not going to hamper yourself by thinking that it's not going to happen and no one's telling you that you can't do it for someone else. And you're not going to tell yourself that because you're doing it for someone else. Your mind's not going to sit here and say that. If you told this other person, that is going to mess it up, but you don't do that. You would just revise whatever it is that needs to be rewrote to bring them to a sense of balance and enjoyment in whatever that experience or event is. To bring them, maybe they were looking to lose weight. Maybe they were going for a job interview and they didn't think it went well. Revise it for them. It can be that simple. Just something simple that you can see what you're able to do with your mind. So that's why we're going to do the rice experiment though, because that will also prove to you how powerful your mental focus is. So, to bring this all back around, the revision technique is an extremely powerful way to change events that have happened in your life. And this is proven by science, by physics. This is possible through electrical impulses, through inorganic means. Your memories can be changed. So if that's the case, you should not ever think that what you have in your mind as memories is what has actually occurred. You don't know. It's just what you have in your mind at the moment for memories. To think that you have actually done these things is absurdity because it can't be proven. You're not there, it's not here, you're not going back there, you're not bringing it here because it's a memory. A memory cannot be regurgitated. It can only be examined. That's why you can change it because it's not stagnant either. You can change how it is stored. It's just data. It's just information. You're just looking at information from a different place. Another dimension is where you're looking at it from. So, go revise something in your life. The next thing that comes up that you see that you are having issues with, revise it. If you see someone else having an issue that you feel that you can assist with, sit down, take an hour, 2 hours, however long it takes for you to get that feeling that you need, that they're telling you something other than what they told you initially. Do it, because it's going to prove to you that you have that ability, and you do have that ability, absolutely. So for everyone that made it this long, I got something to add on to the end here regarding the replicas and Blade Runner and memory implants. So I was talking about how memories can be implanted inside your brain. And if we look at the movie Blade Runner, this entire movie is fastened around a world where a large part of the population are biological robots and they don't even know it. And these biological robots actually come to a point to where they can have organic children. What is going on here? That's my question. What is going on here? What has went on? Has anyone out there seen the movie Samsara? It's a documentary of beautiful not set pieces, scenes. It's very scene driven from different places around the globe. There's specific scenes in it though of factories in China where they're showing robots that look as if they're people going through a manufacturing plant. It's interesting because it makes you think, are there replicas out here that have memories implanted inside their brain? Is this something that's actually happening? Are there cultures maybe that are specifically built on top of this? What do you think? Let me know what you think about that, because I'll tell you what I think. I surely think there are. I'm not going to get into the details here, but I definitely think that there are organic, robotic organisms out here that have flesh, organs, and all, and can reproduce. Did you know that there's actually pregnancy robots now that will carry a baby through its pregnancy? So no longer does the baby have to go to an incubator. The incubator is on a robot that can walk around and act as if it's a mom. They'll probably even extend it, put some milk in it so that it can actually nourish a child when it gets birthed out of, I'm actually curious. How does that work? How does that work with a robot? Do they build in the whole process so it happens, or do they just go and open it up at that point and just take the baby out as if it's just some type of shell? It's interesting. I don't know, I'm gonna go look into that. You all have a good day. Go get in nature. Go take some deep breaths.